Hello, Koopos! How is everybody doing this fine evening, late night, early morning, afternoon? I guess depending where you are in the world. It doesn't matter. I hope you're doing well. I hope life has been going great. I've been good here, working on another video. Yes, this video today. So this video, before we jump in, I gotta give credit where credit is due. So a viewer, cellot347, it's either cellot or chellit. I hope I'm saying that correctly. 347, giving credit, shout out to this viewer that basically reached out to me and gave this suggestion of a video. I liked the idea, so this video was inspired by the idea given to me. So shout out to you. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Anyway, what are we doing today? We are going to be talking about reprints, things that we think, or at least I guess me, our masses thinks, should be reprinted. Am I an expert in this? No! Is this totally personal opinion? Yes! What am I doing to gauge what I think should be reprinted? Well, you know, I went off of things like, well, cost, availability, things like how recent it was, just basically what's the word I'm looking for, released, how recently it was released. I don't know why I struggle with the word released. And also things like wait, no, I think that's all of it. Yeah, so that's really all of it. And then I just made a list, and I kind of put it in order from like top 10 of like least to most that I think need to be reprinted. And you know what? It's my scale. I made it up in my mind, so whatever. I hope you enjoy it and take it for what it is. And actually, I'd love to know in the comments or on the Discord channel, let me know what you think the top 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 cards should be reprinted. And I'm just curious. I want to know what everybody thinks out there. Obviously, we think Square Enix should reprint some cards. Square Enix, please reprint some cards. Please. And I think it should be targeted to cards that are specifically for the players, not the collectors, right? Obviously, some cards should stay rare for collecting, while some cards should just be reprinted for availability so more people have access to build and play certain decks. Anyway, before we jump in and do this, though, I want to remind everybody to please like, subscribe, follow. Also, thank you for everybody that donates. I appreciate you all so much. Next, we are doing a box opening Monday for Opus 11, so make sure you join our Discord, join how it works, make your guesses for the full arts we may pull, right? US people can win packs. Everybody gets entered to win an Opus 14 pre-release kit. And speaking of which, actually, before I jump into that, BetterHelp.com. I know I'm not a sponsor officially, but mental health is so important. In fact, today at work, I got asked to basically tell my life story, and I created this cool little slide. It was very compact, succinct. I was pretty proud of it. There's some changes I'd make. Anyway, I got to tell my life story. There's a lot of mental health things in there that I got to talk about, and I think I may actually do it for you all in another stream at some point, and possibly encourage you all to do one, and then maybe we can also share it here on the channel, and I can incentivize you with you know, maybe packs, kits, something, I don't know, something, but yeah, let me know if that appeals to anybody, and I'll think about that too, because I think that would be really great. It would be a little bit more personal, and of course you don't have to if you don't want to, or it can be as light as you want. It doesn't really matter. It's all up to you. It's your story. You can do what you want, right? You can do what you want. Anyway, in that story, talk about mental health and just its importance. And so I hope that you're taking care of yourself, showing love to yourself, showing love to others, always doing the right thing. I hope you've been able to get vaccinated if you can get vaccinated. And yeah, BetterHelp.com. Reach out to someone if you ever need anything, any help. You're not alone, right? My email, ourmasseslife@gmail.com. Not live, but life with an F, not the V. My email is in the video link description, ourmasseslife@gmail.com, and you know, email me about everything, about TCG stuff, ideas, but also personal matters. Maybe you just want to reach out to someone, or maybe you just want to like rage or show hate to someone. Send me the hate mail. That's right. I don't care. whatever you want. I just want you to know and remind you that you are loved. There are people out there that love you. And of course, people over at betterhelp.com are out there ready to help and support you as well. What was I going back to? Oh, yes. So kits reminded me of, I got to give shout out to this brand here. Boom, 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 boom. Here it is. Yeah, there we go. So, trading card game pit. I got to give shout outs to this store, to the owner out there. I reached out to them and they are giving us, the channel, the hookup. So we're going to feature them again. Of course, you know, we feature places like Zulu's and the like. All these places, including Trading Card Game Pit, their links, Facebooks are in the video link description. Go check them out. But I got to give these folks some special credit due today because not only were they able to help me get my hands on some Opus 14 kits and Opus 14 stuff for the channel, but also promos. Yes, promos. I know some of you out there can't get to an LGS or your LGS doesn't have promos or whatnot. And Trading Card Game Pit has generously donated some promos coming our way. And I'm going to do what I can and get those promos back into your hands, especially people where it's more difficult to get promos, and help you get some of those game promos. And so, yeah, go check them out. I love their site. Also, you can directly message the owner there as well. She allows you to basically contact them and, you know, ask questions, whatever it may be. They always have sales as well. So just another venue. You know, I always encourage you, of course, your local game stores. And of course, I gotta, you know, recommend places like Zulu's, because that's an LGS, the Light's an LGS. But Trading Card Game Pit is also a type of LGS. It's a more smaller business. Go give them a try. And yeah, so show them some love. Thank you so much, Trading Card Game Pit. You are awesome. Shout outs to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get into this. What Armasis thinks the top 10 cards should be reprinted. This video inspired by cellot347. Thank you again. Let's do this. Okay, Kupo. So let's get into this. Yeah, you know the thing above me. So I believe that is the last. Lost is the last YouTube subscriber. I think. I don't know. This thing doesn't update so well. I don't know. And then the donations. I'm supposed to have donations like showing here, and I can't see them, and you can't see them, and it's frustrating. And so I don't know. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. So I'll keep trying to work on that. I don't know. My gosh, it's so frustrating. Anyway, let's jump into this thing. So the first card up here that I think should be reprinted, I don't know how I'm gonna jump into this, so I'm just gonna jump into this, is Armasis, not Armasis. Could you imagine? That'd be cool if this card is named Armasis. But Armature Roster. Armature Roster. What does Armature Roster do? It is a summon. It is choose one auto ability, cancel its effects. If the canceled auto ability triggered from a forward, deal that forward 8,000 damage. Why do I think this card should be reprinted? Let's talk about that really quickly. So the reason why I chose this card is because auto abilities are so dang important in the game. They are so important. Almost virtually every forward has an infield auto ability effect, and also other auto ability effects somewhere in a turn. Backups, so many auto abilities, so many things that when in turn field or during end or when attack or when this or when that or when here or when there. So these effects are so very important. And cards that can just shut cards down are so important to have. And Armature Roster right now is a card that everybody wants, especially the full art card. The normal playability, so the card prices I will be showing you are at somewhat their median, are going to be at their lower rarity and median prices from TCG Player. So these are the prices you're seeing. So this is basically just a non-foil $5 price point. Availability is low and the importance is high. And so I think at number 10, Maybe it should be higher on this list. Maybe it shouldn't be in this list. I don't care. But me, what I think for number 10 is Armature Roster should have a reprint, right? Don't reprint the full art. Leave the full art, right? That's a rarity. But reprint this, please, Square Enix. So yeah, let me know what you all think about Armature Roster. I just think these kinds of cards are just becoming more and more important to the game. Anyway, next up here, we've got Asura. Why Asura? Asura almost seems like a card that doesn't necessarily need to be reprinted. It's so specific to certain decks. That's true. That is true. But I'm thinking kind of future as well. Cards that allow us to play more cards or to reuse cards. So Asura today, as we all know, in like the lock kind of freeze, you know, kind of builds, whatever those decks are called, I can't remember again right now off the top of my head, are pretty cool, very important. Asura is key, right? The non-full $8.12 at a median, availability somewhat moderate. The importance, again, I think is high. Because of in the future, outside of those decks, I believe that these kinds of cards that reactivate cards, that allow things to that allow you to be able to play more cards, or also, of course, have this extra ability to also add cards. So it says choose one character of card of cost 2 or less in your break zone, added to your hand. But you know, so cards, return cards back from the break zone to your hand are super important, are going to continue to grow in importance. And because Asura has basically all of these options in it, and it's only a cost 1, and it's in a pretty like playable type of color, I think cards like Asura are super important. There should be more availability. This freaking card is not easy to get. I know. In fact, I think I recently just ordered my very first foil of the card. I think I only have 1 foil now. But I have like 3, I think 3, maybe now 4 Asuras, so not too many. I think that Square Enix should reprint Asura, and plus it looks cool. Also, what would be really cool for collectors is have a full art of the card, because I think the card just looks amazing in general, and as a full art, that card would be rocking. Anyway, next up for what our Masters thinks cards should be reprinted, Brassicas. So wait. Brassicas, Armature, oh my gosh, what is my name? Armastis! What are you talking about? Brassicas was already reprinted. I know, it was already reprinted. But Brassicas was reprinted as a full art in a gift set tin 2, which sold out so quickly. And now the full art of that is almost about the cost of the actual tin itself. The tin was like, what, 40? I think it was like $40 when it came out, right? I had a full art Sephiroth, a full art Arts, and a full art Brassicas, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was another one in there too, I believe. A Rasbunger or whatever, however you say that card's name. I could be wrong. Anyway, people went for it, of course, for the Sephiroth and for the Brassicas. Sold out quickly. The tin now is like $100 or $120 online. It's ridiculous. But Brassicas is just one of those super cool color fire kind of forwards that people want to play. They love this card. It is great in a lot of various situations. The fact that if it's targeted, it does damage, and when it attacks, it does damage. Even the discard ability, which I think later in the future we may see become more and more important to be able to do damage, I think is just amazing. So in my opinion, sorry, I just had to really quickly read it again to remind myself if I was right on that. And I was. Okay, so in my opinion, I think Brassicas should be reprinted. Square Enix, please reprint this card. It's about $19.99 on its low end currently, according to TCGplayer.com. Availability is super low, and I think as the game progresses, and especially because Fire is just such a great kind of color to play, the importance is moderate to even high. So yes, Brassicas needs to be reprinted, Square. Next up is Ritz. Why Ritz, Armastis? Because March Ritz decks are those kinds of builds out there that people want to play, but it's so freaking expensive. On top of that comes from Opus XI, just like Brassicas does. So that set, almost near impossible to get because of all the FF7 stuff on there. Thank you for that, Square. I know you all love FF7. I know a lot of people do. Cool. Okay. Respect. Please give attention to other things besides just FF7. But I get it. I get it. Anyway, going back to Ritz. When I first got in this game, I wanted to play March Ritz. Ritz was very difficult to get. I think I managed to pull one out of some packs, and then I had to buy the others. Eventually was able to get more, right, as the channels progressed, and with all of the amazing people I've met have helped me to get my hands on more stuff. But availability was always hard. It was rough to get cards like March, Ritz, Brassicas, and Opus XI just had so many like key critical cards. So again, I think Ritz just needs to be reprinted. Its ability that to allow a player to reactivate 3 backups is just so important. Moderate to important. I think that ability is just great. It's going to be more important in the future. The fact that it can also basically attack once you're at 3 damage, I believe, yes, and not and Ritz cannot be blocked is just amazing. Again, right there, the price point, again, that's non-foil Kupos. Non-foil, $21.75. Availability is super low. The full art is like, I think like over $100 now or something like that, something redonkulous. So Square Enix, you gotta reprint it. You gotta reprint it. Next up, Bellafor. Yes, Bellafor. Opus I Legend. Okay, first off, I think almost every Opus I card should be reprinted in general, right? But Bellafor, this was hard. Okay, so this list was not easy to make. And whether or not you like the list, I'm sorry. I like the list. And I'll do other parts to this series as well. But Bellafor, in my opinion, currently has a low importance right now. But in the future, and maybe I was incorrect in putting importance as low right now on this, but in the future, I think cards like this are going to be super high. And even kind of right now, it could be argued that this card is pretty important, especially now that people can swarm, those monk builds out there, but also other builds that allow just things to swarm. Putting things back in players' hands. I know the people will be able to trigger those auto abilities, but being able to clear a field, going in for the kill, going in for the win could be important, or maybe even giving you an extra turn. The cards like Bellafor, I think, are super great, hard to get. Availability right now is moderate, but at the low end, we're looking at about $15.25 for a non-foil version of this card. And I think this card, which will only get better and better and better as time goes on, definitely needs to be reprinted so other people, especially people newer in the game, get a chance to play these kinds of cards. I think I only have one Bellafor in my collection, I think. So, next up, another Opus I card, Cosmos. Yes, Cosmos is one of those backups that produces multiple different elements, and it allows you to play more than just one light. And for those of you that aren't aware, basically in the game of Final Fantasy TCG, you can only play one light or one dark unless you have cards that say specifically otherwise. In this instance, with Cosmos, she allows you to play more, to play 2 or more light characters on the field, and Cosmos can be played even if you already have a light character on the field, which is pretty amazing. And she produces CP of any element as the game progresses. I mean, we already see now today with cards like Tyro and Shantao, the importance of having cards that can produce other CP is so high. And so cards like Cosmos and Chaos and a few others out there that do those kinds of things are super important. I almost actually put Leo from, I believe, Opus XI, I think, on this set on this list. Leo is a 4 that basically says your backups can produce any CP. I almost put Leo on this list because it's also a very difficult card to get to. But this card, really hard to get your hands on. Low end for non-foil, $13.15. Availability currently is moderate. $13.15, maybe not too bad, but again, maybe still high. And yes, it needs to be reprinted. Also, it's very difficult to get any kind of foil of that card at a decent price. Next up, surprise, surprise, it's Chaos. Why? Well, basically all the same reasons that I just gave for Cosmos apply here to Chaos as well. And especially as I had mentioned here, as the game progresses, these kinds of cards are going to be even more important. Chaos slightly higher on the list because we may get more support for Chaos specific cards, possibly name or job. So I could be wrong on that, but I think so. So the price is lower, $9.75. But dark forwards are so impressive in this game, like just killer good. Now Opus 14 is producing like a killer good light, but I think in my opinion the darks in general are just at this point before Opus 14 a little bit better in general. So that's why also Chaos gets a little bit of a bump up right now. So Chaos, another card, its availability is moderate to even kind of low. There wasn't any too much again on TCG Player. I did look on eBay for all these cards too, and like there's virtually like almost nothing for some of these on eBay unless you're looking specifically for like foil or like graded cards. But just normal non-foil, very difficult to get outside of TCG Player, and of course on TCG Player it's very moderate. Importance again, because you can produce all the CP of any element, produce and play more than one dark. It's I think just it's a high importance. Next up on this list for number 3 is Gabriel. Why Gabriel? Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna take a moment here and do a little bit of a spiel. Cards that search other cards are so freaking good. Period. Especially backups that search other backups, but even forwards that search other forwards are so good, and Gabriel is one of those cards. We have other cards that do that, like Tyro, and of course there's like a slew of backups that can do this kinds of things. But with Gabriel, the thing with Gabriel here is it has the X burst ability on top of it, right? If it goes to the damage zone, you're going to get the search ability to kick off. On top of also having the extra gain 3k, right? If at 6 damage, and then you have the special, which isn't bad either. It's actually pretty good special too. So like all these things just on top of it, and it comes from an older set like Opus 9. It's so weird to say an Opus 9 is an older set, but it feels like it kind of is. It wasn't that long ago. But the full art version is like super expensive. The availability though for this non-foil card is super low. On the median, it's about $46.99 on TCGplayer.com. I don't think I found anything on eBay. I could be wrong, but I think when I looked there was like nothing. But I think just the cards that search other cards are just so dang important. So cards like Gabriel, people want to play Gabriel. Some people, you know, they just can't get access to the set. You know, Opus 9 is starting to run low in stock out there. On top of that, it's like, you know, you're kind of gambling if you buy a box or buy any packs if you'll get Gabriel. And so, you know, not many out there in stock. I think this card needs to be reprinted. Leave the full art for the collector, Square Enix. I get it. All right, that way everybody's happy. Let the players get Gabriels, please. Next up here for number 2, Rinoa. Right? Why did I put Rinoa at number 2? Well, let's go back to talking about Armature Roster, right? What it was the thing with Armature Roster is the auto ability thing. And of course, with Rinoa allowing you to bounce cards back into play to get those auto abilities again on forwards. Oh my gosh, this card is fantastic. Now I've been a little bit like kind of blessed in this, where with like my Opus 6 boxes and packs, I kept buying Opus 6 stuff to look for Estinian, and I could not get my hands on a freaking Estinian. I only got like one non-foil in my collection, but I kept getting Rinoas, and not that it's really a complaint. And I'm really glad I did, because I think this card will continue to get more and more important as the game progresses because of all these amazing auto abilities. Auto abilities have become so important in this game. It may later on change, but the fact that you can just re-trigger auto abilities, and now that we have decks that have so many mixed elements, you know, like if you have something that's like heavily focused on like fire or lightning, you can splash in some ice and then you can use Rinoa and get those auto abilities for your forwards again. So this card, super difficult to get. Availability, really low. Non-foil, $49.44. People, that's crazy. Square, you got to reprint this card. I think cards like this are going to become super duper important. This is why Rinoa, in my opinion, should be at rank number 2. Next up from Rinoa is perhaps a card shouldn't surprise anybody here. I've already mentioned it here. Of course, is Shantao. Shantao. This sadistic, amazing little creature, whatever she is. Mage, I guess. I don't know what she is. I never played Final Fantasy XI. Anyway, she's amazing, and she's killer, and she needs to be reprinted. Look at that price, Square. Look at that price. That is non-foil. Opus I Legends, $60.99. Players need this card right now. It produces CP of any element except light or dark, but who cares? You don't need that, right? I mean, you can play light and dark with any CP. It doesn't really matter. But produces CP of any element. On top of that, when Shantao is played, remove everything from the field, right? Remove all the forwards, not everything, but all the forwards from the field. It's like a game reset card. It's an amazing card. It's a flexible card. Tell me, how many Earth builds out there, especially on the competitive scene, don't run Shantao, right? Not many, at least from what I could see. I could be wrong, but in my opinion, a lot of people using the Shantao. We need the Shantao. Square Enix, you got to reprint Shantao. Shantao, in my opinion, #1 in this list and should be reprinted. Now, yes, I know we got the reprint as a full art out of Opus 12, but that's not what I mean, Square Enix. I mean a non-foil, reprint of Shantao. Reprint Square Enix, reprint. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Not too much of a long video, which I guess is really good for, the algorithm on YouTube. But I enjoyed putting this together somewhat quickly. Again, I got to give shout out to cellot347 for the suggestion. Such a great idea. It was really cool to put this together. It was really neat to kind of like in my head figure out what the top 10 should be. Is there great order in this madness? No, not really. Is it the best top 10 choices? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I got 1 or 2 right. I don't know. Let me know what you all think. Let me know in the comments. Again, head over to our Discord channel. We're doing opening Opus 11 on Monday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you get your guesses in on the Discord channel. And again, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow, all of that jazz. Take care of yourself. Show love yourself to others. Remember, hit up Trading Card Game Pit. They are donating all those promos for this channel. I can't wait to get those and to get those into the hands of those of you, especially those of you who are struggling to get promos due to the fact that you don't have LGSs or maybe whatever the reason. I want to try to help you out and getting those out there to you. So again, thank you so much for everything. Remember, you're all wonderful, you're all beautiful, and you're all loved. Until next time, bye-bye.